everyone. This is Morgan Reese. I am your host of Good Morning Black with Morgan Reese. And I have an amazing guest this evening. I am going to be presenting the amazing poet, Dominic McDonald, who is also known as Nerd the Poet. So after this, he's the author of It's Okay to be a nerd. I'd rather be called a nerd. So he's the author of that. So after these information messages, we'll be back to him.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Good morning, black people.
Hello, everyone. Again, this is Morgan Reese, and I'm the host of Good Morning Black People. And I have my amazing guest, Dominique McDonald, who's also known as Nerd the Poet. So, of course, he's after my own heart, one nerd to another. I've been called that all my life, believe it or not. So, I'd like to welcome
Mm.
to my show, Dominique. I'm so honored and so blessed that you took out the time to join my show this evening. Enough of me talking. Tell us where you are from and more about who you are and why did you decide to use Nerd the Poet as your introduction of who you are? Because I know for my world being a nerd, people pick at you or you tease you about being a nerd. For me, I think it's a great thing because we're great, unique individuals that are brought into our world.
Right, definitely. So, once again, hello everyone. My name is Dominic McDonald, also known as Nerd the Poet. I am originally from Los Angeles, California, born and raised. Now, currently living in the DMV area by way of Washington, D.C., where I have been for the past 4 years. Just really getting into what is now known as the DMV Renaissance of poetry and artistry. So, I developed the concept around calling myself a nerd after, much like you said, Morgan, just realizing people have been calling you that your whole life, and there was really no choice in what it is to um, be labeled a nerd or whatever it is that you are labeled. So I really just took it and embodied it, and said, if this is what I'm going to be called, then I'm going to redefine and change the definition into what it is and who it is that I
Okay, okay. So when did you create Nerd the Poet?
am. So, Nerd the Poet was an evolution. I originally was called Nerd in high school, around like junior year. I had an introduction into spoken word and writing through hip hop. So, that was my rap name. And then when I moved to the DMV area, I wanted to be more specific about the branding and marketing, so I incorporated Nerd the Poet because I wanted to I wanted to ensure that people knew I was focusing on my poetry.
Okay, okay, okay. So you say you're an author, so I know you wrote I'd Rather Be Called a Nerd. What
Yeah.
else did you write? What else did you create and bring to all of us to listen and learn and watch about who you are and to learn more about you as Dominic McDonald, but also as Nerd the Poet.
Right. So the first book that I wrote was called "The Love Song of D. Nerd McDonald." It is a poetry book based off of my experiences with love and relationships, inspired by a T.S. Eliot poem, "The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock." That was kind of an ode to my discipline as an English major in college. I got my degree from California State University, Long Beach, in English with a focus in creative writing. So that's where I became kind of trained and disciplined in the many facets of poetry, prose, long form, short form, limericks, different things like that. And that was what I used to kind of have the prerequisites and backing to feel confident enough to publish. And I had friends in the poetry circle that had published. So I sat down and had a conversation with them. They told me, the ins and outs, and the process got started of being a published author from there.
Okay. Okay. So you say you're from California originally. So you're from the West Coast. And
Yeah.
then what made you decide to come all the way to Washington? Like that's like I'm an old school. Lord's willing, I'll be 50 years old this year.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you know,
Congratulations.
West Coast all the way to the East Coast. Either you stay on one side of the world or you stay on the other side. So what prompted you or what pushed you to say, you know what, I'm just gonna leave this whole side of the West Coast and I'm gonna come to Washington out of all places.
Yeah. So it actually started out with me coming to Baltimore. And when I first wrote my book in 2015, I had the idea to tour it. Now, the tour was also secretly me trying to figure out where I wanted to move to next because I had enough of LA. It wasn't providing the sustainability that I was looking for, and I just felt like I needed a personal change. So one of the stops that I made was in Baltimore, Maryland, and I really enjoyed the poetry scene there. I really liked the consistency, how they took it seriously. So I did an open mic, which led to me doing another open mic the next night that I didn't plan for, which then led me to coming back to feature 6 months later, which led to another showcase feature. So I was just like, this obviously is a place that I need to be. So I decided to, make my track in moving. And, they said the transition from LA to a place like this, I would probably be more comfortable kind of in the DC proper area because most people from Baltimore, when they want to do stuff for entertainment and everything, come down to DC anyway. So that's what um that's what led me there. And then I did my research too and looked at the thriving, black communities in Prince George County, Maryland, um, DC's Chocolate City. Well, now it's more like Swirl City, but
Wait a minute, what's Squirrel City? That's
there's
a
a lot of
new.
white people moving there. That's what
Oh,
that.
okay, okay, okay. I was say that's a new one. Never heard of that one.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
mean the culture is still there and rooted in the district. So it's a really good place for a lot of black professionals.
Well, you know what? Just the title of your latest work, which is "I'd rather be called a nerd,"
Yeah.
is a statement by itself. Because again, as I told you, growing up, that was always my stigma. Even my son, as he was growing up, he kind of followed his mom's tracks, and
Hmm.
he used to get upset about it. I said, "Honey, your mom been calling her all her life, and look where I'm at, and look where they're at." And he
Hmm.
used to be so upset. He's always in defense mode but for now, for you to make it like, hey, yeah, I'm a nerd, and I'm proud to say I'm a nerd. Is that what your concept was? What was your thought process of bringing that whole new statement of identifying who you are, and maybe other fellow nerds to say, you know what, I don't care. I'd rather be called a nerd than XYZ or the ABC. What was your concept behind that?
Right. So the book title was originally going to be called "The N Word," and how we got to this title is because I wrote a poem called "I'd rather be called a nerd than the N Word,"
Mm-hmm.
and I think this tapped back into my original thought process and statement when I first decided to give myself that nickname. Was that I'm going to redefine what this word is if I have no say so on who gets called that. Um, Most of the times I got compared to like Steve Urkel, and I didn't get the benefit of the doubt that I have my own individuality and uniqueness, and in a sense, there was not much of a respect that I was given that other students, other people similar to me were given. So I had to go through a lot of trials and tribulations and go into spaces that show my creativity and say, hey, I'm here. I have something to offer. I can be cool, you know what I'm saying? I may have some quirky things about me, but that does not fully encompass um, my whole personality and who I am. And it's interesting because this is pre like blurred movement, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like in a sense I was kind of ahead of my time on owning the nerdship and bringing the blackness to it and all that.
Wow. Okay. All right. All right. So I see where you go. So you basically created your own movement, but also allowing us other fellow nerds to say, look, it's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way. So with you being from actually originally from California, a lot of the movies that they showed then didn't show a lot of the nerdiness. They showed all the gang bangers or the
Mhm.
tough rough guys. And looking back then, because I'm maybe a little older than you, and look where you at right now. How
Mhm.
how is that transformed? Where now you probably can go back home and nobody won't even look at you as nerd, the poet. They're looking at you as Dominic McDonald.
Yeah. Um, I think that I have done a good job at outwardly expressing, my individuality and who I am. Sometimes I do kind of wrestle and battle against those archetypes, right? And we actually see this nationally with conversations of redefining manhood, identifying and working through toxic masculinity, so on and so forth. Um, and a lot of those conversations and issues, were a part of my upbringing, and it was a part of my life, and I had to navigate. There's a piece that I'm going to share called "Nerd with Attitude" that says that there's some type of tenacity and some type of grit that every black man from LA has to have in order to survive. I think that is also a unique part because I'm, a nerd, but I'm also not a punk because
Say it one more again. That's
I'm a nerd,
right.
but I'm also not a punk because if that was the case, I wouldn't be able to make it, on my own. I wouldn't be able to do the things that I have done, and even go to the East Coast and kind of uh, find my way and get some notoriety in that journey. So yeah, those conversations and those things still happen today, and it's something that you got to kind of find your way in navigating.
So, what defines you as a nerd, Dominic? What is your skills, your craft, your overall knowledge? Where they like, oh yeah, he a nerd, yeah, doing stuff that or what defines you as a nerd?
um, I will say that I think that I've been told I'm very corny, so I like corny jokes. I've more so landed on the fact that I'm an intellectual, and I'm very big on philosophy, sociology. So the way I look at things and the way I talk about things and use my intelligence kind of make me seem like this smart guy, but it's really just like I'm philosophizing. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing things that the original rappers did when they talked about the world view in comparison to where they were in their neighborhoods and things like that. I also am very big on 80s and 90s pop culture. Um, what else? We talked about the corniness. I mean, aesthetically, like glasses. I'm an asthmatic and I'm skinny with long arms. Like so, it's like
Okay,
it's the
you just don't have
aesthetic.
the pocket protector.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't have the pocket protector. So
Okay,
it's the aesthetics, it's the intellectualism, it's the corniness. Um, yeah, and I think that's pretty much what it is.
so
That's
I'm
my
gonna
my
ask you because
specific.
you've already mentioned one of the things, so I want you to share a poem with us. And then I also want you to rap. So yeah, you weren't ready for that part. Oh, you weren't ready. So you thought you was catching me on the first thing when I was already going to do that part. Oh yeah, I'm adding the next one today. So
Okay.
I'm giving you the floor right now.
Okay.
Everyone, listen to welcome to the stage, Dominique McDaniel, Dan Donald, also known as Nerd the Poet. You weren't ready.
Tupac said, "Everybody in LA got a little bit of thug in them, and I'm no different. I done slap box and gave verbal slaps to a beatbox. Got beat up and still had to be upbeat to survive on these streets. Don't let the innocent looks or the smooth taste fool you. I'm a cold, bruh. My dad was a sentinel and my mom a general. I was raised to be a soldier. To survive in LA, you gotta be bold, tough, plus all the things Desiree told you. Love may save the day, but it ain't none in the heart of the city. Not always fighting with my hands, but making my words witty. Fists clenched, head high at alert, and eyes shifty. Got me from point A to point D. I don't mess with you, and you don't mess with me. And if you do, you won't forget me. Raised somewhere between forgive those who trespass and ride on your enemies. Mob mentalities, simple psyches. Anything complex is an abnormality, and they ain't with all that smart stuff, unless it's over a banging track. Now, getting paid, being an artist, making this money is an understandable language. You better familiarize yourself on this side because we're not too fond of strangers. Malt liquor fueled aggression if we don't feel respected. This land is our land and we gonna protect it, hand to hand or by weapon. I advise viewer discretion as my brass message may come off rude. My intelligence and quest for knowledge made me a nerd. The city of Los Angeles made me a nerd with attitude.
Okay. I definitely wasn't ready for that. Okay. You're like, look, don't let the smooth taste fool you. I love it. I say it all the time. See, now I don't feel too bad.
Right.
Nerds unite all day. Nerds unite all day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, wow. Okay, Dominic. Okay. Okay, so you ready for the rap? That was I know that was your poem. You thought I was gonna get away with that? Oh no.
Okay, I could
Here you
do
go.
I could do one of my raps.
Gotta be clean.
Okay, no, I got you.
Okay.
Hocus pocus, I'm the dopest. I go for it because I'm focused. Ask Ace White, smoking, he a token. Stuck in the game, lighting the blunt to get lifted. While I ignite pages to feed my addiction. No rest for the wicked. I'm sitting twitching while pencil fingers itching. Leaving imprints of sentences of compositions finished. Then I replenish. It's splendid, tremendous, a menace. I got the juice now with glory that's newfound. Yet undiscovered, I'm smothered by shovels of lover, not a fighter, turning the other when they come to hover. It's the undercover gutter. Come get tucked in. The hunger of the runners got my ribs touching. I fall asleep on the rap sheets. Make a pillow from throwaways. Could go for days, nights, anytime, minutes, and peak hours. You get no service within weak towers. Cheap doubters need to speak louder or stay intercom. Want to get the message out, but they send it wrong. Give me the crown. I'm royal like a tenenbaum. You short in this sport, so you really don't belong. I oppose like thumbs to controllers with analogs.
Wow. That's all I can say is bow. Bow. That's all I can. Wow. Yeah, you got flow. You got flow.
Just a little bit.
I love it though. I love it though because you like coming to the stage, Nerd the Poet, and then you start spitting. They like, you don't sound no nerd because you know people think they have to understand what a nerd is and they really don't.
Right.
I love it. Dominic. I love it. So this year, my year, I have a new slogan called 2023 is all about me.
Okay.
So Dominic, 2023 is all about you. I promise you, is going higher to higher heights and deeper depths of your craft, of whatever coming to your mind, and you've been thinking about it last year, thinking about a couple of years back. This is the year to let it happen, let it be. And you're already on that path. You're already on the path. And I can just see that brain moving in there like, yeah, she was saying that, okay. Yeah, that's why things coming to fruition. And I would like to definitely bring you back. So if anyone need to follow you, how can they catch up with you? Where are you going to be at? Where they can see you perform live on the mic, or either as the rapper side or as the poet side?
Okay, well the rapper side is retired, but you can find me if you're in the DMV area every Wednesday at this place called Wasted Lounge on 8th Street and 8th. In the 8th Street corridor, I host an event called Wind Down Wednesdays. I'm also the CEO of my own production company, Nerd the Poet Productions. So we produce open mic events and different things that provide poetic talent and poetic expression to venues. So there's that every first and third Friday in downtown Silver Spring, Maryland. I host an evening with authors, which if you would love to come out there, I would love to have you. That is at the Republic Garden in downtown Silver Spring, first and third Friday. I have an open mic called Refresh Open Mic, which we're close to finding a new venue, but that is on Sundays, on third Sundays for now. As far as virtually, you can find me on Instagram on Nerd the Poet. I also am on Facebook under Dominic Nerd McDonald, or you can follow Nerd the Poet Productions.
Wow. Well, I would definitely be honored to come because I'm heading back towards that way. I'm from Philly, so I'm on my way towards that, back up towards that side of the city.
Okay, yeah.
I would definitely love to show up to that and be your guest. We can definitely work out the logistics on that. I am honored that you took out the time out of your busy schedule to join my show. But I would like to ask you for one more thing. If you
Okay.
had anything you would like to share with the world who's listening, something positive, something inspiring, something motivating to catch their eye, tell us something, share something that's going to impact the next man, woman, boy, or child.
Something impactful is that we are collectively important, but never forget about your individuality and your uniqueness, because that is just as important as the collective um, group that you identify with. You know, if I was just someone who focused on trying to fit in, I would not have what I have today. And I take pride in the uniqueness that comes out of who I am as a poet, artist, business owner. And God has shown me what can happen when you step out on your individuality and use that as an inspiration. Yeah, that's it.
You stepped out on faith and you look where you at now. That's basically what it was. You stepped out on faith and look where you at now. Well, Dominic, I am so honored again and blessed you decided to join my show tonight. Guys, check out my man, Dominic McDonald, also known as Nerd the Poet. Check him out on IG. Check him out on Facebook. Look at him on YouTube. He making you laugh, but he making you think. He making you think intellectually, not just thinking like, oh yeah, I got this and that, intellectually. And with the words that are coming out of his mouth is going to lead you and take you to a next level. Please follow this young man. He's an awesome, awesome author, a CEO, a poet, a rapper. He said he retired, but I don't know about that. Because I think somebody may hear you tonight and may say, hey, bro, I may need you to come back and perform that one more again. So we're not gonna take that away. We're definitely not gonna take that away. And I really am grateful and honored that you took out the time out of your busy schedule to join my show. I would definitely love to have you back. I would definitely love to have you back if you were able to come back.
Yeah, I would love to come back.
Oh, most definitely. From one nerd to another. Hey guys, nerds rule. Nerds rule. I'm a nerd and I'm proud to be a nerd and I'm not gonna take it back and I'm not gonna change it for nobody. Dominic McDonald is a nerd. He's proud to be a nerd, and he'd rather be called a nerd than anything else. Just don't call him late to work. Well, guys, thank you again for joining my show. Thank you for watching this amazing interview with this amazing young man, Dominic McDonald, also known as Nerd the Poet. Follow this man. He got gifts. He got creativity. He got intellectuality. He's able to articulate things that you're not going to be able to articulate and comprehend things that you like, oh, how do you figure that out? Check him out on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Guys, thank you again for joining my show. I am Morgan Reese, and you have joined the show Good Morning Black People with Morgan Reese, and I am so grateful and thankful for you guys coming today. Enjoy your day, your evening, your morning, whatever time you're watching this, and be blessed.
Peace.